Well, I've got somebody here with us right now who's the man of the day, the man of the hour, the man of the month, the man of the year, maybe, because he put something on the table today that people have been talking about. And I want to bring him in, none other than the honorable, esteemed Maryland Congressman Glenn Ivey. Hello, Congressman. How are you?
Doing great. Thanks for having me. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thanks for joining me with my tea. Thank you.
My
Well,
pleasure.
sir, you are very outspoken about Donald John Trump, and it's finally taken you to come out and question and put on the record the complaint about the president violating the War Powers Act. What happened today in Congress?
Yeah, well, they had a pro forma session, so they try and come in and go out quickly. But Democrats came together as a group. I was part of a group. I took the lead in it and tried to demand that we have unanimous consent to take up the War Powers Act resolution, so we can move forward with that and start trying to debate it and have a vote. And they gavelled it out. So I don't know if you have the clip of that, but they cut off the microphones. They didn't even let.
What? Now you should have
Yeah.
given us that clip. Oh
Oh
my gosh,
yeah.
they did. They
Oh
cut
yeah.
off the microphones.
Yeah, they cut the mics off, so you can hear us yelling in the background, but that's it. So, but these games aren't going to stop us. This is when we come back, and this just like before. They remember Johnson took us out of session and then tried to hide for like 50 days or something, the
Yeah,
end of the summer, beginning of the fall.
yeah.
But they can run, but they can't hide. Sooner or later they're going to have to come back, and we can bring this to the floor. This is a privileged resolution, which means we don't have to get a discharge petition. We don't need permission from the speaker. We can bring it, and we're working on trying to get a couple of Republican votes to come over because we only need a handful, and some of them, yeah, the stuff he did on Tuesday, talking about we're going to annihilate him and blow him back to the Stone Age and all that crazy stuff. Some of these guys are starting to say, now, wait a second, that's even for him, that's a bit much.
That's a little delusional in my mind, and it sounds organically delusional if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
I think I agree. I think he's unstable. And he bounces back and forth. But the thing right now is, it's like a trapped animal. He knows he's painted himself into a corner with this stuff, right?
mhm.
So before the war started, there was free passage to and from the Strait of Hormuz. You could go through it and not pay anything. Now Iran is in control of it. And what did he come back with? Well, maybe we'll do a joint venture with Iran and, split the tolls. Like what? It's just kind of nutty, kind of crazy stuff like that, where, before the war started, we were in better shape than we are now. Same with the nuclear stuff. He said back in June, remember they bombed Iran back in June, said that I think the word he used was obliterated. We wiped it
Yeah,
all out. They don't have any nuclear capability left. Then he comes back. Oh, we got to go back in because they got nuclear. We got no nukes for Iran. We got to go back and make sure. Well, they ain't done nothing like that. In fact, what we're hearing is there's 1,000 pounds of uranium somewhere out there in Iran. They don't know where it is. We don't know if it's got weapons grade potential, but I guess most uranium does. I'm not a physicist, but the bottom line is we're in worse shape off than we were
yes,
before, and we
yes.
spent $54 billion to get here. It's crazy. It's really crazy.
And we can't pay for gas, we can't pay for food, we can't pay for anything, but we paying for wars. But I wanna come to this because what you said they turned the mics off. This is not new. They did that with Congresswoman Joyce Beatty over the Kennedys and stuff. So when they don't want the Democrats to say anything, they'll turn your mic off. So what kind of tactics can you do to keep the mics on and be heard for the American
Well,
people?
well, when we come back in session, and they got to come back next week,
Mhm.
that's the point where we've got the chance to get on the floor and like I said, we can bring the motion at the appropriate time, and the
Mhm.
speaker can't block it. So we'll have our chances, but the key for us is to keep fighting, keep pushing, take every opportunity to bring this to the forefront, to put it on the front burner for the American people, because they understand they're paying more at the gas pump. We want to make sure they understand why. And then the point that you had a moment ago with the impact on farmers. That
Yes.
means food prices are going to go up even more because the Trump tariffs caused them to go up already. We need to make sure they understand that Trump is the reason they're having this problem at the pump, right? So we've got to keep pushing this forward so that they get it. And when we get to November, that's when we got to close the deal.
So I want to go real quick to our chat because people are like talking. They want to let you know that they hear you. For Rep Ivy, Zeke says this president doesn't care about the everyday American. It's about him and his cronies getting richer! Exclamation point. He is okay with people dying to garner his Project 2025. Soul City says the problem is that Republicans are not standing up for America. Another one, this one from Instagram. P. Miller says, I hate this administration! Exclamation point. I have grandsons who will be 18 in 2 years. Whoo! And
Wow.
Al Via says they should draft those who look like them. He said it, so honor it. Ooh, and then Justice says, outrageous that the House is in recess again. This is an emergency.
Yeah, we've been in war for 40 days now. I think we've only been in session for like 30 or so. So, and then remember back when we had the first shutdown, um, Johnson did the vote on the House floor, knowing he passed a bill that the Senate wasn't going to move forward with, and then he took us out of town. So we were gone like all of August and, big chunks of September and all of that. But like I said, you can only hide so long. Sooner or later, it's going to be waiting for you when you come back. The Iran war is not going to be gone, if you just wait a few extra days. And we haven't even got to the homeland, the ICE stuff yet, because they've been ducking on that. Speaker Johnson, again, in particular.
They've been
That's not
ducking
going
on
away
Epstein
either.
too. They've been ducking on Epstein too.
Yep.
And Melania Trump comes out today. I did not know him. Ooh, you just put a direct target on yourself. I'm like, ooh, we're gonna talk about that later. Yes, say what you gotta say, sir.
The Melania thing, I didn't see that coming, right?
Who did?
It just popped up, and so I came in to watch. Now, the real interesting thing that she said was all of those women who were victimized should have a chance to come and testify before Congress. Now, her husband and Pam
Wrong.
Bondi and the people at DOJ are like, there's nothing to see here. Don't worry about any of that stuff. I was really surprised that she came out and said, let's give them their day in Congress and give them a chance to testify.
She put more attention back on it. That is his pillow partner, right?
Yeah.
She put, if he gets in trouble, blame it on her. Yeah.
I don't know if he did something. He forget her birthday or their anniversary. I don't know, man, but
Oh, he did. She
wow.
didn't. She didn't get her honeydew list met. That's what it was. So look, but I want to ask you this, sir, seriously, because I have such great respect for you, and I thank you for
Thank
showing
you.
up and taking my calls and talking to me. But here's one thing that I'm really concerned about before I let you go, because we got about 4 more minutes, because you got a dark. I think you have to catch a train to go up to New York to be at the National Action Network convention.
That's right.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Big 2 days for you. So basically, what I'm feeling and thinking about is a couple of years back when we were talking about yellow cake and we were talking about weapons, WMD, weapons of mass destruction. And you had the international community kind of tipping in a little bit, but the international community is in on this. The Hague is in on this. People are talking about war crimes. Do you believe that the international community will be the savior for the American people, or will it be the Democratic Party in November? Because this is huge. People want help. And he
Yeah, I
scratched.
think we need all hands on deck. So the international community, and they're fighting with him. The NATO crowd, for example, or the European Union, they're having their conflicts with him. But at the end of the day, the folks, we, we are the people who are going to save us, right? It's going to fall to us, just like it always has in the American democracy era. It's going to be us pushing this forward. The Democrats have to win in November. We got to at least take the House back. I think we're heading in that direction. We keep winning these special elections, and some like the one we just had the other day didn't win it, but is 25 points closer than it had been when Trump ran 2 years ago. So I think things are moving in the right direction. I like the No Kings rallies. There's a lot of action out there. Not just African Americans, got a lot of white and other communities that are coming out for those
It's mostly the
protests.
other communities, yes.
Yeah, 8 million people came out last time. So that's a good sign. Go
And
ahead.
May 1 is going to be an economic thing. It's going to be no schools, no work, and no shopping. Did you know about that?
No, I did not, but and, I'm sure you're gonna have a lot of happy school kids on that day for sure.
No, it's the same organization, Indivisible, that helped with No King. So they're starting
Yeah.
this. So we're getting the word out. But lastly, we got 1 minute before I have to let you go. How much is gas in your community? How much did you pay in the last 2 days for gas if you paid? Because you're right there on the cusp of DC. So you still hurt, but you're like in and out. But how much or which price stuck in your head, and what is your comment going to be tomorrow at Nan?
I mean, the discount place we just drove by to get back here to this office, there's 409 per gallon. So we're
Is
we're
that's
getting to that.
regular?
Yeah, that's regular. We're getting back to that point where it's going to be like $100 to fill up your tank. And that's kind of crazy. If you're driving one of the SUVs and all that stuff, it's a big bite. And there's absolutely no reason for this. His illegal, ill-advised, illegitimate war is the reason we're paying more for these every gallon of gas at the station. Is why food's going to go up because, as you were just hearing, the fertilizer costs more. Everything's going to cost more, and there's no reason for it. And the 54 billion that he's spending on this war, and he's coming back to ask for another 200 billion. And he's going to have a $1.5 trillion budget request for defense. And when they asked him about, well, what about this stuff? He said, I don't want to pay for that stuff. I'm fighting a war. I don't want to pay for daycare and Medicaid and Medicare.
That's
That
right.
is a quote.
Oh,
That is
yeah,
a
you are
quote.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, dude's more interested in fighting the war than helping people get through their day-to-days, keep a roof over their head, food on the table, lights on. And he promised the exact opposite. But he's delivering nothing but pain and suffering and higher prices on the American people.
And what are you gonna say tomorrow at NAN, National Action
Well,
Network?
it's funny. I haven't written out a speech. I want to go and see what's going on, and we'll go with the flow. But it's going to be a great day. I think Kamala Harris is going to be there
Yes.
speaking before me. Anything the Reverend Al does is always outstanding. He's such a nice, insightful and brilliant guy. And there's going to be a lot of talent, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. I'm looking forward to being there.
I'm gonna tell you what will arouse the crowd is if you say I stand with Melania for giving the victims of Epstein their day and the fact that Barron Trump should be part of that selective service number.
There you
Bam!
go. There you go.
That's it. I
Man,
got your speech for you.
he's turning off the women, isn't he? You got Marjorie Taylor Greene turned on him. Now Melania turned on him.
I
And
never thought he was cute.
well, that's why he had to pay, what's her name? Stormy Daniels to.
Oh, a name from the. You are bad, Congressman. You are very bad. Well, sir, thank you. You always have a seat here, sipping tea with me on the Tea with the Contrarian. We are so thankful that we got you on your big day. I'm sorry that they turned the mics off, but this is a big story, and
That
you are pressing it. When you come back, you say you're going to press it again, correct?
they can't they can turn off the mics, but they can't silence our voices. The fight will continue.
Come on now.
Hey,
Maryland's great congressman.
that's right.
Come on, he's fighting. Come on. All
That's
right,
right.
sir.
You
Maryland's
guys
great
got it.
Congressman Glenn Ivey. Thank you so much for joining us. We look forward to having you again. Tell your folks thanks for making it happen.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
Thank you. You too, sir.